Welcome everybody, Division 1 action now between defending champion Emerson Lardie at the top of the screen and Dylan Magika at the bottom of the screen. You can see the points on the right hand side. Dylan's undefeated. This is round 3. Emerson's a defending champ, 13 points down, so he's got a fair bit of work to do to make up the gap. This Dylan is got a bit of a black splash this week. He was playing this deck last week. Immediately a seal away on the scrap heap Scrounger, which is a good one because it prevents the recursion. Yeah, I'm not sure what the black splash is here. He was playing mono green last time, so we'll have to wait and see. Gideon of the Trials comes down for Emerson. Emerson looks like he's on blue-white control. This is an interesting one. I'm not really sure how this one's going to go. I think the black, if he has duress in the sideboard, is going to be important, but I would suspect this matchup's going to favour the blue-white control player. This is pretty aggressive from Emerson here, getting in with the Gideon. I suspect, the follow-up, so this is telegraphing a settled wreckage right here. You can see Dylan goes to load up all the Llanowar Elves of the counters. 3 on one, one on the other. I think, and he's only going to swing one, so he's respecting the settled wreckage. Okay, or a cast out will do it as well. Emerson probably doesn't really like spinning a cast out on a Llanowar Elves, but not much choice. Gideon's going to fire up again. And here's the black, so he's playing basic swamps. He's had enough, he's conceding, so we're going to go to game 2. And you can see immediately in the opening hand he's got the duress. So kind of an interesting move there. He's mono green last week, he's tweaked it to a black splash this week. Immediately going to fire off the duress. History of Benalia or Settle the Wreckage. Which one does he want to take? I think he wants to take Settle the Wreckage here, because, well, he's thinking long and hard. He takes History of Benalia. Because he knows about Settle, he can play around it, but I think his creatures very quickly outclass the History of Benalia, so I think he could have dealt with that one quite easily. And Emerson draws another one anyway. I was going to say one option here can play the Deadlands and crack it to get rid of either the Walking Ballista or the Knight. He's going to play Adventurous Impulse instead. Look at the top 3 cards, pick one. He takes a basic forest. Scrap Trawler, I suspect, is in the deck for the Walking Ballista. So down comes the second part of History of Benalia. Fender Inspector is an interesting lord here. Now, we saw the Settled Wreckage previously, so we'll see what he wants to do here. Okay, he's going to crack it on a Knight, because that Knight's going to become a 5/4 next turn. Emerson here putting a counter on his own ballista. So he's going to trade ballistas in the end. Oh no, he uses it to shoot down Land of War elves, interestingly. So a 4/3 knight. The History of Benali is a $20 card. I think it's very underwhelming for that price. But here's one card that's very difficult to deal with. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Emerson took game 1, so now the onus is on Dylan to try and find a way through this. With a knight blocking. Oh, he fires off his seal away and he's going to clear his board, so that's a big play right there. Down comes a Foundry Inspector, but this does not look good for Dylan now. Dylan actually, I believe, paid 0 for the Ballista, so the Foundry Inspector is making it a 1/1. Oh, he's going to minus Teferi onto the Walking Ballista. And what's the play there? I don't know if that's a misplay from Emerson, because it enabled him to remove the Ballista, remove the Teferi. Okay, Lyra Dawnbringer. So how does Dylan, playing off the top of his deck now, has to deal with this thing? Oh, actually, sorry, the Ballista before, that's right. Foundry Inspector means colorless spells cost 1 less. And this is looking pretty bad very quickly here. I think he's got about a turn to find a response. Khan will not do it. Okay. So he's going to have to minus... Actually, this is going to force Emerson to attack the Khan, because if Khan minuses, he gets the Vraska's Contempt. Oh, he's going to go at the face. So you can actually minus Khan next turn to get that Vraska's Contempt and kill the Lyra Dawnbringer. I'm guessing that Emerson must have a... counter spell in hand. If he does, it's just game over. So you can fire this off now. If there's a counter spell, we're going to Modern, and there is a counter spell. So we're on to Modern now after Emerson takes standard 2 games to 0. And it looks like he's on Lantern control. Emerson playing an Overgrown Tomb, so he's probably got Abrupt Decay, which can deal with a few of these pieces. Well, I think he's going to be forced to take Ensnaring Bridge. Yep. This is actually sped to 2.8 times, I believe, because Lantern is very boring to watch. Now it's sort of a race to see if he can find his ensnaring bridge. He's already lost one. But he's got, I'd assume he has 4 abrupt decays, so he can take care of Emerson has 4 abrupt decays, so he can take care of a bridge. Here's a Tarmogoyf, so there's 6 power on the board. So he's going to draw a Pithing Needle. He can aggressively target himself here to find the bridge, so he's going to dig 2 deep per turn. There's a Maelstrom Pulse, so I think he's going to want to keep that. Well, he can either use it to take down the 2 Codex Shredders, or he can, well, he's not going to draw it, so Dylan's going to be forced to use the Codex Shredder on the Emerson at this turn. Now he's going to sacrifice his land to go and find the ensnaring bridge. So if Emerson doesn't have the abrupt decay in hand, and I believe it's game over. There's a Maelstrom Pulse, he's not going to get that either. A Tarmogoyf he can have. All these useless cards from Emerson. There's a second ensnaring bridge. I don't think he can beat 2 now. The Witchbane Orb. Plays out a second Tireless Tracker. The hope here being to peel some lands and draw some clues, but the problem is the Lantern player is going to get a Pithing Needle and name clues, so he can't actually crack the clues for the card draws. And I think that's what he's going for right now. Gets the Pithing Needle. I believe he's gonna name Liliana. Okay. You can see 3 Codex Shredders. There's no way Emerson is going to get anything done, so he concedes immediately. We go to game 2. I'm sure his deck has a number of abrupt decays in the main deck. The question is what he has in the sideboard that he can bring in here. Nothing going on in his hand. That's a bad keep. And there's the ensnaring bridge, but he's not going to take it just yet. With no pressure on the board, there's no rush to do that. Treetop Village was his draw for the turn. So now we can see what they're going to be drawing. Liliana's not a very good on this board. I mean, she can ultimate. Abrupt Decay can answer her as well. He's going to probably the spear here, I believe. Yes, he's targeting the spear. You see a lot of hand disruption coming through now. Inquisition of Kozilek takes the Liliana. Going to fire up the Treetop Village, but this does not look good for the green-black player. And here comes Ensnaring Bridge next turn. So 2 cards left, and I don't believe either of them are Abrupt Decay. So he's got Dylan to 11, but it's not going to be enough. Fires off. So Abrupt Decay will take down Liliana. So here's Ensnaring Bridge. And he can actually sack the Lantern to shuffle a card away. That's his only out at this stage. Ancient Sirens finds River of Tears. And there's a second Ensnaring Bridge, so this looks pretty hopeless now. And there's one of the mill cards that picks this. Maelstrom Pulse, I suspect, will not be resolving. This is where Emerson needs more fetch lands, but he's seen enough, so we're going to go to Legacy. So both these players now taking their games 2-0. Dylan on his usual Monored Prison, which he's had pretty good success with. And Chalice on 1 on turn 1 immediately brings a Force of Will, exiling Baleful Strix. Emerson on his Sultai Control, which he's played pretty consistently as well. As down comes Hazard at turn 2. I'm not sure if Emerson's deck and Sultai colours can answer Hazaret. As lethal on board next turn. We might quickly be going to a game 2 here. But Hazaret is lethal, he needs to gain life. Well, actually no, it's not even going to save him. Yeah, we're going to game 2 because Hazaret could do 5 damage plus the 2. Here's Thoughtseize. What's he going to take? Probably Blood Moon or Chalice. He might be tempted to take Chalice here after it did a bit of damage last turn, unless he's got a Force of Will in hand. He's just having to think about this. I think it's a definite choice between Chalice or Blood Moon, so he takes the Blood Moon. He says in chat it's a strong hand. And he draws a Chalice. He plays his Chalice that he drew, so he can play the Magus of the Moon next turn. So Emerson's going to need a removal spell. Let's see what he's got here. Fetch is a basic. Does he have the removal? Yes, he does. Diabolic Edict. As down comes Leovold. He needs to exile Simeon's Spirit Guide if he wants that second red source for Fiery Confluence. And that's what he's going to do. Leovold is down. Emerson down to 3 cards. As Jace the Mind Sculptor enters. So he targets Dylan, puts his card back on the top. It's a land, it's an ancient tomb. He's still awkwardly missing a second red source. Quicksmith Rebel targeted Chalice's Void, so he can actually tap Chalice to do two points of damage here. So he's going to tap Chalice to take down the Baleful Strix immediately. Do 2 points of damage to Jace, and Quicksmith finishes Jace off. Abrupt Decay on the Chalice, so now he's just a basic 3/2 on there. Only one card in hand though for Emerson. As down comes the Deathrite Shaman. One card in hand. Emerson now can actually hardcast Force of Will if he wanted to. But he's going to play another Jace. Again he targets Dylan with the Jace. And he keeps a card on the top, so we'll see what it is he draws. Oh, Trinisphere, I'm a bit surprised he kept that on the top. Although when you got 6 mana it probably doesn't matter too much. Dylan doesn't bother playing it out because he wants to keep the Kozilek's Return up. Again targets Dylan, and again puts the card back on top, so it's 3 times in a row. Oh, Snapcaster. This is going to make Kozilek's Return a little bit better. And now Diabolic Edict is going to make it even better. So see, it's a City of Traders that he left on top. Now he'll play out the Trinisphere. And this time he's going to Brainstorm with Jace. So draws 3, puts 2 back. Plays out his second Leovold, so we can see Dylan has the answer for this again. Kerrigan's command will take down the Trinisphere and get back. What? Oh, okay, make him discard, so it's a Fiery Confluence. So time running out now for Dylan, and with Jace being able to plus, I think we'll be going to a game 3 very shortly. Again, he keeps the card on top. It's a Chrome Mox, that's enough, so we're going to game 3. Emerson just a basic island. We'll see. He actually went to 5, so it's not a good sign for him. See if he's got a Force of Will in hand, otherwise we're getting a turn 2 Mages. And he doesn't have it, so this could be very problematic now. So Dylan takes the aggressive line, playing out the Goblin Rebel Master. We saw the Diabolic Edict before, so I don't know what other removal spells he might have. But this is a beatdown very quickly. This one's over, I think it is, yes. and Dylan will extend his lead at the top. He dropped